10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
Well, hello.
Crap.
There's crap. What's up, Sith? What you up to?
Hey, nothing at all.
Just nothing.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things to do.
I know it is, isn't it? Just like absolutely nothing. Those days that come along once in a great while when you literally just like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you do nothing productive at all. But it's not like you don't need to, right? Like it's just like and they don't happen often. Like it almost never happens. Especially the older you get. But like it's just literally like a day where you don't have to go to work. You don't have errands to run. You don't get anybody that needs anything from you. You just like can literally do nothing all day if you want to. And those days are so fucking rare. Maybe when you get older, they become more common. I can imagine like when you get older, kids are out of the house. Maybe you're retired or whatever. Those days probably become more common. But like, yeah, when you're an adult and you can just like literally do nothing, you know what I mean? Those are great days. Those are great days. I mean, you just be like, it's exactly like that line from Office Space. Where he says, "I did nothing, and it was everything I thought it could be." It's so true. That's such a great line. I love that movie, man. I love that movie because that movie is so spot on with so much shit. Just how it feels. Oh, anyway, what's up, guys? How's everybody out there in the chat doing? Huh? How you guys doing? Everybody in the chat is talking about me moving. I got a few days left. We're leaving on either Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I don't know exactly what day. We're picking up the truck on Monday, and then depends on how long it takes to get everything packed up and everything loaded. And then my wife wants to, get this place cleaned up, which we're trying to do as we go. But there's only so much you can do at a time. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do anything. Like, I got these shelves and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. They're just here. I can't do anything with my gun safes and my guns until we get the truck. So that's just still here. So there's some stuff I can't do yet until like the truck gets here. Then last minute you can like start doing stuff. But yeah. So we'll see how long it takes to get everything loaded up and ready to go. Well, like I said, we'll either leave early Tuesday morning or early Wednesday morning. And then it shouldn't be more than 2 days. I mean, if we were able to drive straight, which I could do, because I think the way we're going, it's going to be like a 26, 27-hour trip. I could do that, but I got to worry about other people driving as well, driving other vehicles and kind of like caravanning up there. And so we're going to at some point have to stop and sleep and stuff like that. So I'm guessing if we leave on Tuesday, we'll be there sometime late. If we leave really early Tuesday, we'll be there late Wednesday or early Thursday. And then if we leave really early Wednesday, we'll be there late Thursday, early Friday. I'm guessing somewhere in there. So we'll see.
Well, you forgot the detour to South Dakota.
That's right. Forgot about that. I forget which way. What?
It's only a few, dozen hours or so out of the way. It's fine.
trying to remember because we're gonna. Let me see. So I think the way we're going, I don't think it goes. No, it doesn't go anywhere near South Dakota. Never mind. I don't fucking remember. Every time I look in different directions on how to get there, I guess because like traffic and stuff. But the main way we're probably going to go is yeah, I think we're going to go straight up through Texas, out through then up through Oklahoma, then after Oklahoma we'll shoot across Missouri, then go up into Illinois all the way up to basically Chicago, and then from Chicago over across to where we're going. So we'll be good. The main cities we'll be going through are all the major cities in Texas except for Houston, St. Louis, Chicago. We'll kind of go close to Tulsa. So,
hey, Sylvester Stallone owns Tulsa, so
he is the king. He is the king. But so I think that's the way we're gonna go. There's a bunch of different ways you can go, but I think that's probably the quickest way. Is to go straight up through. We'll only be going through.
Careful how you position the arm. You might get lambasted by the liberal media.
It's true. Just gotta be careful. So anyway. So what's new in the world today? Other than Trump talking about taking over Gaza. I know that's the big story right now. He said he was going to take over Gaza and clean it up. I really don't want us to do that. I hope we don't do that. I hope that was just him talking out his ass like he does half the time.
Yeah. I know U.S. is shutting down packages coming from China, which is very disconcerting for someone who has a very large package coming from China.
Oh, you got a large package? Look at it bragging.
Well, I mean, it's quite large. It's probably the largest package I've ever seen in China.
Now, was it? I mean, because I saw something about this. Was it us stopping it, or was it China stopping it?
The USPS is shutting down, not accepting packages from China. It says mail, like letters and flat packages are not going to be affected, but no word on the rest of it.
Okay.
They got a month to figure it out before I start getting mad. So
yeah, I mean, I saw something about it the other day. I remember it was probably Monday or something when I saw that. I didn't really read too much into it. I don't have anything coming from China, so excuse me. Just like sneezing and coughing all over the place right now.
Bless you.
Lele says China and Hong Kong packages are now back up. USP announced it a few hours ago. Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
All right, cool.
I won't have to Judy chop anybody, so.
Yeah.
People don't have to freak out because their mail order brides aren't coming.
I occasionally order something from like AliExpress, you know what I mean, once in a while. But I that's not often. Although I guess although I wonder if that would have affected like actual shipments, like companies importing shit, or if that was just people having stuff.
Well, it said it was a lot to do with AliExpress and what's the clothing one? It's another Temu, and there's another one that's kind of known for like clothes and stuff. But it was just something about it doesn't require customs for packages under $800 value. And so that's how things like Temu and AliExpress were existing, was because they could ship you these cheap things without having to go through customs, and it doesn't bump up the price. And time limits and all that stuff. But
Well, so what's the big deal? I don't understand. They were like, no, we want some of that money. Is that what they were bitching? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe because of all the import tariffs and stuff. That have the tariffs on China gone through yet? I know they delayed the ones for Mexico and
I think they were
Canada.
supposed to start their first, weren't they? February 1st?
Well, he said he announced them on February 1st, and they were supposed to go through on like the 4th or something like that.
Oh.
Would have been yesterday, I think, but I hadn't heard if that, because I know the ones, because the big news was all about how the ones in Canada and Mexico got delayed by 30 days. So I hadn't heard, but I hadn't heard of what had happened with the ones from China.
I imagine that China's went through because he hasn't talked to them yet about, like he has Canada and Mexico, trying to work out deals and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. See what happens. I love how everybody's blaming the price of eggs on Trump's tariffs.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid.
Do you think we import eggs? Is that what you think? Do you think we're importing eggs? I've like literally seen videos pop up on YouTube from some of these left-wing channels, like making whole videos about it. I'm like, do you understand the tariffs? Do you think we import our eggs? Like, is that what you think happens? You think eggs are an import product? No, that's not why the price of eggs has gone up.
No,
they want to blame Trump for everything. Like, that's not like, are prices going to go up because of tariffs? Yes, they are. That's the point. I don't think people understand that. That's the point. The point is to force American manufacturing back into existence.
Yep.
The point is to make sure that if people are going to continue, because there's nothing that says that you can't still buy stuff from China or wherever, right? But if you do, it's going to cost more money. And it's going to cost them more money, which means they're going to have to probably raise their prices because they're going to be getting taxed on it if they want to maintain their profit margins. They're going to get taxed. They're going to have to charge more for it, or the companies that are importing it are going to have to charge more for it if they want to maintain their profit margins. So the point is that it does. Yes, prices do go up because of tariffs. That's like part of what happens, and the idea is to force American manufacturing to start making those products instead. Like, that's not a surprise. Some people were acting like, don't you get it? That's what's happening. Yeah, I know. That's the fucking point.
Exactly. It's just people that are fucking stupid and don't know how to read or look up shit. They just want to bitch and blame Trump.
Now, let me be clear. I'm not a fan of tariffs. As a libertarian, I'm not a fan of tariffs at all. So I'm not saying they're a good thing or anything. I'm saying people acting fucking like it's a surprise that's what tariffs are going to do are fucking retarded. Like,
I'm not surprised because I know another libertarian that don't like the situation with the tariffs. I'm more mid about it.
Well, I don't like tariff because it impinges on the free market, right? That being said, I understand why they're doing it, and I think the point that they're trying to get to, which is to force American manufacturing back, is a good goal and worthy of going after. However, that doesn't mean I like tariffs. Tariffs are not a good thing. They're anti-free market. It's the government coming in and basically deciding winners and losers. Now that also depends on how tariffs are handled. The other side of that is, if you look at what happened with Canada and Mexico, if the tariffs are handled in a way like which a lot of people suspect this is exactly why the tariffs were put in place in the first place. If the tariffs are used as a fucking tool to get things we want out of other countries and then never actually impose the tariffs, like what it appears is probably going to happen with Canada and Mexico, so that we can get border security and things that we want from them. Using them as a tool to get stuff we want, there's nothing wrong with that. If your intention is like, hey, we're going to use these as a a way to barter. Like, here's this thing we can do that, we don't want to do, but we'll fucking do it. Unless we get what we want. I'm okay with that, because the intention isn't to just, fucking control the free market, all right? The intention is to get something that we deserve out of other countries that are taking advantage of us. And if that's what happened, and that being said, I mean, I think that's the whole point of these tariffs. But like when Bernie Sanders, for instance, right? Like, he's big on tariffs. He's been big on tariffs for fucking decades, right? Real big tariffs because of socialism and all that shit. Like, socialists, which this is what fucking I find absolutely amazing, is socialists, Marxists used to, until Trump talked about it, used to love tariffs. Love tariffs. They love it so much. Oh, the government controlling what people can buy to get better deals for the American people, and government controlling aspects of the free market and telling companies what they can and can't buy and punishing them for buying stuff we don't want them to buy and importing it. Oh, the Marxists used to love fucking tariffs. They loved them. They loved them. All the way up until Trump started saying that we need tariffs on China. And they went, boo! It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? He's doing exactly what your fucking, your Jesus wannabe politician Bernie Sanders wanted to do. Like, he's doing exactly what Bernie Sanders wanted to do with tariffs. So, but they fucking just switch sides on that fucking shit real quick. It's kind of like the border thing, right? Like, the left used to be really, really, and this was actually something I respected about Democrats, was they used to be really hawkish on the border because they wanted to protect American jobs, and they wanted to protect American home ownership and all the things that can get affected by when you start just allowing people to just unendingly come in and work for lower wages and take housing and do all that stuff, right? Democrats used to be very much against that because they were very pro-union and very much all about protecting Americans and workers' lives and things like that. And then as soon as it was like, oh, well, Republicans want to do that. So, oh, boo, they're a bunch of racists. Like, wait, so you're saying the Democrats were racist for decades because of the same thing? Because that's basically, that's their excuse. Oh, you want to secure the border because you're racist. And who's going to pick your fruit and clean your toilets now? Fucking racist.
Same argument that they used to keep slavery back in the day, too.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a bunch of hypocritical bullshit. But yeah, I mean, it used to be I would say back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was actually one of the things that I agreed with Democrats on, was protecting the border and doing so to protect American jobs. That was a good thing. I didn't agree with a lot that Democrats did, but there were some things. And in fact, it's one of the reasons why I was libertarian and why I wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. It was because I saw I saw things from both parties. I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that or this or whatever. I mean, there's obviously things like gun control that I couldn't fucking stand that the Democrats did, right? But there were aspects of left-wing politics that were not bad things back then. Now it's just all fucking bad. Because now it seems like any of the good things that I used to would have attributed to left-wing politics in this country, which are things like the ability, freedom of speech used to be a real big deal. I remember in the 80s and 90s, with the exception of like Tipper Gore, but I remember in the 80s and 90s, everybody who was very, very pro freedom of speech, and you should be able to say what you want when you want, and television shows and movies and music and all these things shouldn't be censored by the government. Entertainment shouldn't be censored by the government. They were all Democrats. They were all Democrats. And it was Democrats that wanted to, protect, like I said, protect jobs and protect housing and all this stuff. Those were things that I think were a good thing. But now all those things that the Democrats were on board with that I would have agreed with, now it's all Republicans. On top of the fact that Republicans are still pro-gun and for the most part anyway, pro smaller government and pro-free market. Not to the level that I think they should be. I think a lot of them are fucking rhinos, but still a lot more than the fucking Democrats are. So now, all the good shit that I could look at a Democrat party in the 90s or even going into the early 2000s and say, well, at least that's something I agree with. That's all on the Republican side now. All of it, every bit of it. Democrats are nothing but just a bunch of bad fucking policy. They've taken the worst of everything. They even have taken on some of the worst shit about the Republicans with the censorship and the open borders and all that stuff. That fucking Ronald Reagan used to fight for fucking open borders and amnesty. You know what I mean? That was shit that I didn't like about Ronald Reagan, they just took all the bad shit from the Republican Party and gave the Republican Party all the good shit. It's like, okay, you've just made the Republican Party even more attractive to people like me who are libertarian.
Right.
You've ensured, I've never voted Democrat, but you've ensured there's no way in hell I ever will. And I was a middle of the road libertarian voter. All my life, as soon as I could really start to understand politics in my late teens, I've never voted for any Democrat politician, and you as a party have just ensured that people like me never fucking will, so it's weird, man. It's fucking weird, and it's interesting having conversations with people, which I'm sure we all have. People who are younger, let's say people born in the 90s and stuff like that, who weren't old enough to really remember what the parties were like in the 90s or even in the 2000s. Because by the time, if you were born in 1990, you didn't probably, vote until at least 2008, right? When Obama got elected. That was the first time you were even able to vote, much less how much did you really know at that time? You know what I mean? Even if you did vote in 2008, how much did you really understand politics at 18, right? So talking to anybody born after 1989, right? They don't remember really that this is what the parties used to be like. They don't understand how hypocritical the Democrat Party has become and how they've just pushed every ounce of good they might have had in their party out of it completely and just taken on all this other bullshit, mostly woke ideology. But I think woke ideology is just a means to an end. I don't think there might be a handful, but I think the vast majority of Democrat politicians don't actually believe in this woke shit. I don't think Nancy Pelosi and all these other fucktards, they don't believe in woke ideology, right? But woke ideology is a great tool that they've been able to use to push for division to ensure that they can try and push people who disagree with them as far away as possible and draw arbitrary lines in the sand. And again, going back, said it a million times, divide and conquer is a tried and true strategy, right? It's a tried and true strategy that they want to employ. And as long as they can keep, and it's not that Republicans don't do this too, but Democrats are they're much more noticeable in the last 20 years or so, where it's like, let's keep drawing these arbitrary lines. Let's bring race back into the equation, right? Because in the 90s, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager and in my 20s, right, like the big push was, everybody should be colorblind. And they're like, no, we got to reverse that. We got to force people to see color. Let's force people to see gender. Let's force people to see all these fucking differences between us and draw all these arbitrary lines and get people in all these different classes, which is hilarious coming from the left, because they're supposed to be the ones that push the whole classless society fucking Marxist bullshit, right? But they want to put people into all these different separate boxes so that people don't, because most people are too stupid, but people don't get together and actually realize that, hey, we've got like 90% of everything we believe in is the same across the board. It's only 10% we disagree on. And if we focused on the 90 instead of the 10 and realized that all these fucktards telling us all this bullshit are the real fucking enemies, well, they can't have that. So let's just keep separating people into smaller and smaller groups and boxes, and let's fucking play identity politics, and let's do all this shit. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Democrats completely flipped on the border issue, because it was something they could cordon off sections of the population by and convince swaths of certain populations that they were on their side, and continuing to like try and force out of the public consciousness what it's actually doing to the rest of the population, the things they used to talk about jobs and housing and all these things that go much worse for working class Americans, when you just have unfettered illegal immigration, right? They like push that out and say, oh, well, no, if you think that, it's because you're racist, but it's divide and conquer, man. That's what it is. It's divide and conquer. And this is where we are today. This is where we are. The Democrat Party has just
gone full retard.
It's changed so much in 20 years. It's changed radically in 20 years. I mean, you go back to 2011 into 2012, during that presidential election, Barack Obama was still saying marriage is between a man and a woman. Barack Obama was saying that publicly, I mean, they were, go back to 2010, they were still, pushing the idea of being strong on the border. A lot of shit in the Democrat Party changed during Barack Obama's second term. A lot of weird shit changed. A lot of crazy ass shit changed and flipped.
What do you think was the reason for it all, though? Like, what was the root cause?
They saw the shifting in the tide and what they needed to present to gain the wokeness, because that's when it all started. So they saw the tide and the turn, and they said, well, we got to grab these people and we're going to go with this, and we'll be looked at as the progression. And they still had enough of the base of the old school Democrat that wasn't going to jump off ship yet. So and it wasn't that crazy or per se their ideas. That's my theory.
I'm more with you with that, Duke. I got stuff to back that up, because I have old school Democratic parents that, they're not going to change the party no matter how they feel about certain things.
Yeah, it's weird. And then, like I said, at the same time, it's weird talking to a younger generation about this, because they never saw it. They never saw how recent this whole woke, whatever the fuck, Marxist ideology that has obsessed the Democrat Party in the last 15 years, how recent and new and different that is, it's the Democrat Party they grew up in, and the schools changed drastically. The media changed drastically. Everything in society in this country like flipped at the same time, to where before like 2010, if you were under 18, you didn't know what the fuck, you weren't paying attention to anything. And by the time you start paying attention, this is just how it is, right? The media is telling you this, movies are telling you this, TV's telling you this, the politicians are telling you this, and everything that came before it, we must forget that. You know, this is the new way forward. This is the new facts. It's very 1984, right? With you know, if you read 1984, they called it newspeak, where like there were even times when you were asked to believe two opposing things at the same time. Two things that with any little level of logic, a human being would be able to determine, you know, oh, these two things don't mesh. They are complete opposites, right? But the state demanded that you believe both things at the same time. There was examples, if you've ever read 1984, and they're extreme examples. 1984 is a book of extremes, but it's an extremes to make a point, like where in the middle of a news broadcast, they instantly changed the name of their enemy in one single broadcast, you know, like and within like just a couple of minutes, they say the name of the enemy, and then like 30 seconds later they say a completely different enemy, and you are just demanded to, oh, that's the enemy, you know. And it's that, you know, obviously, again, like I said, I mean, they're extremes, but it's making a point that we're seeing in front of us right now, primarily from the left in this country, with the levels of censorship and how you're asked to look at something with your own eyes that anybody with any level of rational thought can look at and examine and determine it's one thing, and yet you're being told, no, it's something else. And you must think it's this other thing. You can't judge it rationally. We're telling you what this thing you're seeing right in front of your face is, and what we're telling you is contradictory to what you can see with your own fucking eyes, but you must believe this thing. That is a real thing that is happening right now, that is going on. It's been happening for years in movie and TV and media, coming out of politicians' mouths, and we're seeing this, and it's like they just ripped. It's like they just read fucking 1984 as like a fucking manual of like, oh, well, this is what we should do. It worked in the fucking book. Let's make it work here to gain power. And that's why I go back to what I said at the beginning, which is I don't think any of these fucking people that are pushing this agenda actually believe in any of the woke shit or anything, right? But pushing this 1984 level of censorship and control and you know, the control of thought and control of ideology and control of interpretation of reality, and pushing the agendas of divide and conquer. Like, it's just a means of control to gain more power. You know, you do have your ideologues, and there are certainly ideologues in you know, positions of power, both in the media and both in politics, right? There are ideologues that truly do believe some of this stuff, but they are few and far between. The vast majority of people don't believe this bullshit, but it is a means to an end. It is a tool that is being used. I mean, look at the three chicks that run Black Lives Matter. I mean, how many stories have we done on them over the last 4 or 5 years about how they're all full of shit? Owning, you know, talking about equality and Marxism and socialism and all this shit, while one of the chicks owns 4 different mansions, the other one owns 3 mansions and shit. They don't believe any of that bullshit that they're spouting. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, none of them believe any of the bullshit they're spouting. But it's a tool that can be used. And they're just playing right into the 1984 playbook, man. It's like a fucking manual. It's like a fucking user's guide for them at this point. Well, how's Command and Conquer, Duke?
My name's Jeff.
My name's Jeff. I'm Jeff.
Yeah, but if it makes them money, man, they don't care.
Yeah.
Makes them money and gives them power.
Well,
they're okay
I was
with
going to say, going back to what you were saying, Matt, Funny thing is, those ladies that work at Black Lives Matter still pieces of shit because when, for instance, one of them had their house burned down, they try to see if they can get donations, for that stuff, for all what they lost.
Yeah. Yeah. But yet here we are. I mean, that's what we're looking at now at this point, is just fucking you're told not to believe what you're seeing and hearing right in front of your face. And at least half the country just eats that shit up. Whether it's about, different levels of politics, whether it's about the border, whether it's about the economy, whether it's about gun rights and gun control, regardless of the fucking, topic at hand, you're asked to look at shit, and with any rational thought, you would come to this conclusion about that thing. But everybody over here is saying, nope, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. Listen to us. Don't listen to your fucking brain. Listen to fucking us. And most people fucking do. Most people fucking do. And that's the world we live in. Go read 1984. Go fucking read some 1984, and you'll understand everything. For anybody out there who's never fucking read 1984, first off, what the fuck is wrong with you, by the way? If you've never read this book, it's not a big book, okay? And it is literally the playbook for this shit. Now, there are other books out there that are really good books to read. Fahrenheit 451, Brave New World. There's several of them out there that are like required. They used to be required reading. Did you know none of these books, by the way, are required reading anymore in high school or college? They used to be.
Oh yeah,
they used to be.
Of course.
None of them are required reading anymore because they give away the narrative. They straight up tell you what these people are fucking doing. And they don't want kids in high school to fucking read 1984 anymore, because people will be like, that seems really fucking familiar. And so they just don't fucking do it. But, whatever. Here we are. Go read the fucking book. Go read 1984. Go read Brave New World. Go read Fahrenheit 451. And by the way, and that's one of those things, is when you look at like Orwell was a fucking Marxist. He was a socialist. Okay? And he wrote the book because he was concerned about where his ideology could go to. He wrote the book as somebody who did believe in Marxism, but was concerned of how Marxism would be twisted. Not because again, for him, he came from it from the ideology that he truly believed in, like, a classless society, and there not being levels of power where one group of people could tell other groups of people what they could fucking do. And he was afraid people would take Marxist ideology and would take socialism and would twist it and use it as a tool, not because they actually believed in according to him, what he believed the tenets of Marxism were, right? Which are bullshit anyway, but he believed it. But because he thought they would take that and use that to control people. And he wrote the book, and, it's not like it was some warning from some fucking, Anne, fuck's her name? Anne Rand?
Anne Frank. Oh,
Anne Rand. But I was going to ask you this.
Yeah, it's not like it was a warning from somebody like her. This was a dude who was embedded in Marxism that clearly saw how Marxism could be used to do very, very bad things.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, because he was more worried about it being twisted and they wanted that perfect class of society, do you think that could never happen because of the human condition? Because, we're very more tribal-esque groups of people, and I don't think we'll ever might evolve something later in the future, like, oh, we see each other as all one.
You mean like truly become like a classless society?
Yes.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I guess if you believe in the Star Trek future, which doesn't seem so bad, right? then sure, maybe we would get there one day. I don't know how we do it, honestly, because of the fact that we are a very tribalist fucking, species. And not like, it comes out in bad ways and it comes out in good ways. There's a reason why, people seek to be parts of groups, which, I don't think is necessarily a good thing, but, because there's something ingrained in us that we want to seek out groups of people who are like us. And since, nobody will ever, there's never going to be an entire world full of people that are all like us. That's never going to fucking happen, right? We're always going to seek out our quote unquote tribe. And, I guess like, okay, so the most obvious example, like I said, is Star Trek, right? It's a futuristic society where everybody has put away all their differences and all that kind of shit, and whatever else, right? But if you watch that, it's because every example on that show, which again, we're talking about, just like 1984, we're talking about a fiction that was created because somebody saw the highs and lows of humanity and wanted to give that representation of like, this is what it could be. But instead of 1984 of like, this is how bad it could get, it was, Gene Roddenberry writing, hey, this is how good it could get. You know what I mean? But if you watch that show, whether you watch the original series or Next Generation or whatever it is, right? Like, all the human characters are pretty much on the same page. So it's like humanity has evolved to all be just one big tribe with similar goals and morals and ideologies and things like that. So, I guess if we got to a point in society where as a species, we all had come to like the same place when it comes to our morals and our goals as a species and things like that, then yeah, maybe we could get there, because then we would get to a point to where anybody you see would be quote unquote considered part of your tribe, and that would kind of, I think, satisfy and fulfill that whether you want to call it an evolutionary or genetic, part of our brain, whatever it is that makes us kind of want to seek out people that think like us and act like us and have the same goals as us and have the same morals as us, then yeah, that would satisfy that. But that's what it would literally take. It would take the entire world somehow, and I don't see how the fuck that happens.
A common enemy.
I don't see how we get there. You know what I mean? To where we've all, like, it would literally take, what was it? We were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Back in 18, whatever the fuck it was, I don't remember, when that congressman was pushing to rename the country, and this was after the Civil War. He pushed to rename the country the United States of the world. And this is real. This really happened. It was something that a congressman wanted to do, and he had some people on his side. And the idea behind it was, we need to basically eventually become one world, country. Like, essentially, at some point, the entire world needs to share our values and morals, and we need to continue to expand until we have become essentially a one world order, right? Like a one world government. The entire world is the quote unquote United States, right? And that's honestly what it would take. Like, you would have to have one society with certain levels of guiding principles and morals and laws eventually take over the entire world to get to that point. Or the other way that you get there is having a worldwide disaster, and whatever that may be. Maybe it's nuclear war, which honestly is what it was in Star Trek. It was nuclear war that wiped out most of humanity, that got them to come out the other side all agreeing, that, okay, we need to change shit and all get on the same page. Or some sort of natural disaster or whatever the fuck, right? Like, it's one or the other. Either a country and a specific society encompasses the globe, or some level of disaster happens that is so great that in the aftermath of it, everybody feels forced to all get on the same page as far as, you know, their guiding principles. That's the only two ways that you get the world to come together and us to like shrug off our tribalism and all the many forms that it takes.
Kind of like 9/11.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, that was not big enough. That didn't even get the entire country,
No.
much less the world. But that was a small example of it.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, is as close to what you're talking about as we've gotten recently.
Yeah, probably. I mean, granted, that was a very localized example of it, but yeah, it's something like that. Something that would come along and drastically change and in many ways destroy the human spirit, to where in the aftermath of that, people would feel compelled to group together, you know, as like one common quote unquote tribe.
I mean, if you turn it like Watchmen, with the Watchmen theory, we get attacked by aliens.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, and there's a reason why that was like, yeah, I mean, there was a reason why he did that, and it's exactly what we're saying. It's like, look, if something doesn't happen, we're gonna destroy each other. We're gonna accentuate our differences and end up destroying each other in a nuclear war. So what can I do that will force people to come together? Something so drastic, so dangerous, so destructive, so life-changing that people will like fucking snap in line afterwards and stop all the bullshit, right? Like
Right.
that was the point of that in Watchmen. So yeah. So, but I mean, you know, that's where we are now, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly, again, unless something drastic happens, I don't see it happening in my lifetime, or, you know, maybe I'm just not that optimistic. You know, I don't see. Yeah, I mean, again, I guess like the man-made nuclear war, and then the aftermath of that, like, is probably the most likely scenario to force that to happen. Not that that will ever happen, but if it did, like, that's the most likely scenario to get people all across the world on the same page and start having, you know, feeling like, okay, we got to come together because this shit's got bad, right? So, but I don't know. I mean, and I also don't see necessarily a reason for it per se. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't see, like, there doesn't have to be some like fucking fantastical Star Trek future for the world to be a good place. I mean, the world can be a good place, and it's never going to be a good place for everybody, but it can be a good place without that. You know, it can still be a good place for most people, even if we are still, you know, separate nations, you know, living in a somewhat tribal society, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, the world can still be a good place. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think we got to fucking become Star Trek to have a better world. So, but, you know, whatever, I guess. It is what it is. Oh, fuck. What else is on the horizon? Oh, I was reading this article. New York Times put out this article on gun tubers, I think this week. And they were like talking about T-Rex arms and all this shit. It was typical, you know, New York Times fucking like, I forget what the name of the article was. It was something along the lines of how YouTube gun channels are changing culture, fucking something like that. I don't remember what the fuck it was. And they were talking to people who were like, you know, learning about guns online and talking about YouTube. And of course, it was all from a very anti-gun perspective, right? Like, it had an anti-gun bias, and putting this article out, talking about how, you know, this stuff can be used for bad, you know, and there's people showing people how to, you know, fucking modify AR-15s and shit like it. Like stuff we've heard 100 times. I mean, dude, I've been doing this for 15 fucking years. Like, this is shit that's been talked about ad nauseum over and over and over again. YouTube's come down on channels, including mine, many fucking times. I was forced to get rid of half of my fucking videos on YouTube back in 2018 because of this type of shit. You know, them saying, oh, it's dangerous to show people how to modify a gun. Dude, I had fucking videos that got dinged because I swapped out a fucking handguard on a AR-15. You know what I mean? Like, like that's not a fuck. I'm sorry, that's not a. There was nothing that I did to a fucking firearm, and many people who got dinged for this, by the way, because the biggest push that I had seen from it was back during the 2017, 2018, during that adpocalypse push. None of the videos that were coming out at that time that were getting dinged were showing people how to quote unquote modify firearms to be more dangerous. Like, it was like repair videos. You know what I mean? There was videos of people putting accessories on their fucking guns. Nothing that actually made guns more fucking dangerous in any way. You know what I mean? But they were all getting dinged. Why? Because the political winds were shifting that way, and they wanted to come down on one side or the other of this fucking thing. And so YouTube, to fucking be all, you know, oh, look at us, we're trying to do the right thing, started fucking dinging all kinds of fucking gun channels and shit. Is this article a sign that they're going to do that again? Who knows? I mean, you know, last time, and back in 2017, it was Media Matters that started this whole thing. They started going after YouTube's they were going after YouTube's advertisers, which is how it started. But Google's never been pro-gun, so you know they don't really need much to push them in the direction of coming down on gun stuff. You know, I mean, fuck, I just had a video taken down the other day.
Well, surprisingly, there's still videos up like that because I'll still be looking up videos. Oh, how do I do this? How do I do that with the gun or something? How do I, you know? Yeah.
They didn't ding everybody. You know, they dinged me for a video where I was talking about, and again, this was probably a 2017, 2018 video where I did just my top 5 budget-friendly AR-15s. That was it. It was a quick, like, 5-minute fucking video of me talking about what was at that time my top 5, like, ready-to-go, budget-friendly AR-15s. That was it. And I got a channel strike for it. They took the video down. I got 3 strikes. Fortunately, I got 1 reversed. Otherwise, I would have lost my channel completely. But I did lose my channel for 90 days. I lost my channel for 90 days back in 2018. I couldn't post videos or anything. They didn't remove the channel, but I couldn't post videos, couldn't do lives. I couldn't do anything for 90 days. Because of stupid shit like what the fuck, dude? I wasn't even showing people how to buy guns. I wasn't, you know, fucking showing people how to modify guns. It was a top 5 video of like, here's my personal top 5 picks for budget-friendly AR-15s. That was it. So this is this ideology of like fucking occasionally jumping out, poking their fucking anti-gun heads up, and fucking, you know, saying, oh, look at all the bullshit going on over on YouTube. This is nothing new. In fact, wasn't it back just in June? I think it was this last year in June. They, like, YouTube came out and said once again, oh, we're going to come down on videos who show people how to modify guns and all this shit. I don't know if any videos actually got removed. I'm sure there were some. I don't know if any channels got removed because of that. They didn't ding me that time this last year for any of my videos, but part of that's because I took half the videos that I had posted on YouTube between 2010 and 2018. Half the videos I had made I took down because I was this close to losing the channel. So anything that had anything to do with AR-15s or AK-47s or anything like that, I took down off the fucking channel. And yeah,
during the apocalypse, reminded me of the thing when the start knocking down all the toy channel stuff, and that's the targeting kids. It's like we're tracking their information when Google themselves was illegally tracking kids' viewing habits when it was on kid mode.
Yeah,
which was illegal. Then it's like, if we get caught, you targeting kids, we'll turn you into the authorities. It's like, we can't do that, you morons. You're the one with the analytics.
Yeah, they're the ones. Well, that's when they did the whole thing of like, you have to adjust your channel to not made for kids.
Yeah,
and then you put that now. That used to be a thing that didn't exist, but now, if for anybody that makes videos, like it asks you that whenever you upload a video. Is this video made for kids?
My intro.
No, motherfucker. Nothing I've ever done is made for kids. Nothing. And it wasn't my fault that any kids were watching. Not that I never had a problem with that myself, but I know some channels did. And it's like, well, they weren't the ones fucking gearing content towards kids. Now, that being said, I will say, there was groups of channels that were putting some very fucked up ass disturbing shit on YouTube and getting kids to watch it. Now, it wasn't like you're talking about toy channels. It wasn't the toy channels, the toy review channels. It wasn't gun channels. A lot of these communities that got hit because of that shit. It wasn't people in those communities. What it was is people coming in and putting like videos of like Marvel characters and Disney characters and video game characters in like just doing these really, really long, like 20, 30-minute videos because of watch time, where the characters in many cases were just doing random shit, but in some cases were doing some fucked up and sexualized shit. And what would happen is, because the way the algorithm was set up, it would just keep sending you to more and more of those fucking videos. And so these channels were making like fucking money, because kids in general would just like fucking put stuff on a channel and just keep watching these 20, 30-minute fucking videos. And after a while, there were some people that were coming in and intentionally, like I said, putting fucked up shit. They were having like Disney characters do some really, really shady fucking. They weren't showing any nudity or anything, but they would have like Marvel or Disney characters doing fucked up sexual shit, and or a lot of sexual innuendo.
People that were like kicked off Tumblr and now are on Blue Sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. But again, that wasn't like toy channels. That wasn't gun channels. That wasn't like, there were a lot of communities on YouTube that got hit with a bunch of this shit that weren't actually doing anything, but there were other channels that were like associating themselves. Like there were a couple of channels where people were using toys to make 20, 30-minute videos to get kids to watch and doing some fucked up shit. But they weren't actually toy channels, right? Like these were not channels that existed before this became a thing where it's like, hey, you know what I mean? These are channels that just like realized this was a way to make money and produce some fucked up shit, because they were fucked up human beings that wanted kids to watch fucked up shit. So they would go buy some fucking toys from Walmart and do some fucked up shit for 20, 30 minutes in front of a fucking camera. And then everybody else paid the price for all that.
Oh yeah, that's why you get such pain in the ass rules about even monetize your channel now.
It's almost not even worth doing YouTube these days if you're someone new coming in thinking about doing it.
Oh, they make it hard for anybody to reach the monetization goals anymore.
I'm trying to think. When I was
from running ads on your unmonetized channel.
When I first started on YouTube, it was right after Google had bought them, but Google hadn't changed anything yet. And you actually had to submit an application to become a YouTube partner. Like nowadays, so they've gone through 3 stages. So when I started, you had to submit an application to become a YouTube partner, like a full, like you're applying for a fucking job application to be a YouTube partner. And I remember I submitted mine, and I think it took like 2 months to come back and get approved. And this was back in 2010. And then they went through a period of time where you didn't have to be a partner, right? Like they would just let anybody turn monetization on because they were like, "Fuck, this is awesome. This is money, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Like if everybody's putting ads on their fucking videos, then shit, yeah, we make money off of every channel. Because everybody was going to put ads on their fucking videos, right? For a chance to make a few pennies a video, right? So they did that for a while, but then 2017 happened, and the adpocalypse and all this shit and the stuff with the kids, and a lot of stuff happened over like a 2 or 3 year period of time. And so they never really took the YouTube partner program away. It always existed. It's just that most people didn't do it because you didn't need to. You didn't need to monetize your shit. You didn't need to become a partner, right? Like I had to become a partner when I did mine back in 2010. I had to, otherwise you didn't have ads on your videos unless you were a YouTube partner. And so they just came down on a lot of people, and most people weren't YouTube partners that were putting ads on their shit because you didn't have to for years. And then now their process for being a quote unquote YouTube partner is much simpler, but has guidelines, right? Like you have to have so many hours of watch time and so many views and so many videos. I forget what the levels are, right? Which weren't a thing when I applied. However, when I applied, it was like a 2-month process where I think somebody actually legitimately like took the time to go through your fucking channel and shit. So it's actually easier to become a partner now than it was then, but their guidelines are more strict, if that makes any fucking sense. Like when you applied to become a partner back in the day, like it was fucking shot in the dark. Like, okay, maybe they will approve it, maybe they won't. They didn't tell you what their fucking guidelines were for what, there wasn't like, oh, you have to have so much watch time and so many videos posted on your channel and all that shit. There was nothing. You just applied to see if you would fucking get it. And I knew people who applied and it took 6 to 9 months before they got approved, right? For me, it took like 2 months. Now it's like, at least you have a guideline where it's like, okay, I've got this much watch time. I've got this many fucking videos. You apply, and if you meet the criteria, it comes back pretty fucking quick.
Well, they changed it again.
What did they change it to now?
It used to be like there's like total watch hours on your channel. Now it's within a year's time watch time. So they made it even harder to get monetized. You gotta have 3,000 watch hours within a year. That used to be lifetime watch hours.
I don't know. They need to change YouTube all the way from the ground up again.
Well, the easiest way to do that, and this is what most people used to do, and probably I assume still do, whenever it's just a little clue out there for anybody that wants to do this. Easiest way to do that, whether it's so much time in a year or so much lifetime, the way I because there were channels I knew that were doing this when they implemented those rules, and it's like, just start doing live chats, dude. Just do live chats out the ass until you hit your watch time. There you go. Like, just start fucking pumping out. If you want to get monetized on YouTube, just start doing live chats.
Another dinosaur movie. Yours not very creative.
What the fuck, Duke? You talking to a robot?
No, why?
I swear I heard some robot chick's voice coming from your microphone.
I heard it too.
Okay.
The aliens have hacked you.
Oh, the aliens hacked Duke.
I'm back. Don't worry.
So I don't know why Trump or Elon or someone like that doesn't buy fucking YouTube and make it free again.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think there's not many companies who could buy YouTube because Google's never going to let it go.
God bless you.
Now,
I agree with that.
Elon, he plays a lot too, so he kind of made like a little joke about buying Paramount so he can make good Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing about Google and YouTube. YouTube has more value to Google than its ability to make money from ads, because YouTube is a wonderful information resource, right? Because people spend way more time on YouTube than they do on Google's search engine. They gather more data on people from YouTube in 5 minutes than they do from a week of somebody's Google searches. They gather more data on everything about you. I mean, what you like, what you eat, what what your interests are, your age range, your buying habits, like all that shit. They gather more information from 5 minutes on YouTube than they do, going through your search history for a week or a month or whatever the fuck it is. So YouTube is an incredibly valuable resource because let's not forget Google and then their parent company, which is I believe ABC Corp. They're in the information game. That's what they're in. All right. They sell information. That's what they fucking do. So Google or YouTube is just way, way too valuable for them to ever fucking get rid of. Way too valuable. Even if another company, which it would take a company like fucking Apple or Disney or one of the largest corporations in the world, even one of those corporations that do have like the money to pay what YouTube is actually worth, I don't think Google would ever sell it.
When they first took it over, they wanted to kill YouTube though. They were in talks. We dealt with Google a lot more than we're working from them. They were in. It was losing money when they first took it over for them.
Oh, it's still losing money for them. YouTube has never made money for Google. YouTube has always lost money for Google as its own entity. But the information, the data they get from YouTube is far more valuable to them than the money they've lost. This is why they keep it going.
Yeah. Before they started collecting the data, that's when they were talking about like getting rid of it.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to tear it down to its bare bones structure and reuse that for their own things. And then they realized, oh, well, we don't have to do that. We can gather all this data and make way more money off the data. Who gives a shit if YouTube actually makes money? Because we're making way more money just off the data than YouTube could ever make on its own.
You remember a few years back when they pushed to try to get like celebrities to start putting out like YouTube channels and stuff. They got Brie Larson to come on, and then they try to make it their own TV service, streaming service. Which does anybody even subscribe to YouTube Premium Plus, wherever it is?
I have YouTube Premium, but I don't have the live TV service.
My son does. He's got it because he hates ads.
Yeah, I don't like them either. And it's weird too because I'm like, you like watch it like on like my console and stuff. I get more ads from there than me talking to here on this phone. When it comes to YouTube ads.
I got things to take care of that, so I don't have to pay for it.
Well, it depends on what browser you watch on too. Because if you try to add any of that shit to Google nowadays, they fucking tag you on it. They can disable it.
Tag?
Well, they can. If you try and put any of those ad blockers on Google, they control that shit. Remember, they did this about a year ago. They said if you use ad blockers, they can disable your fucking YouTube account.
Oh, really?
And they did disable a bunch of people's YouTube accounts. Now, whether they're still doing that or not, I don't know. But they can do that. If you're using Chrome and you're using an ad blocker, you could literally lose your YouTube channel at any time. They can go after you at any time. That's not to say they ever will, But they did it to a whole bunch of people about a year ago when this shit first happened, and they announced that they would no longer allow ad blockers to be used for YouTube because they wanted to force people to use YouTube Premium, and a bunch of people lost their fucking YouTube channels. And they didn't give a shit if they didn't give a shit if it was just a YouTube account you were watching stuff on or you were fucking posting videos. They were erasing people's fucking channels. So they have a way to detect it, and they have a way to detect it on other browsers as well. So you just have to be aware that, like, if you use that shit, you may lose your YouTube channel one day. That's not to say it'll ever happen, but they can do it. They can detect it, and if they want to, it's in the policy. It's a part of their policies that you agree to when you have a YouTube account, that you won't use ad blockers, and that if you use ad blockers, they can remove your account. And it happened to a bunch of people about a year ago. So I'm just saying, like, use it if you want. I mean, you can, but if you just have a fucking YouTube account to just watch videos, I guess it doesn't really fucking matter, right? Like, you're not really losing anything. If you have videos on your fucking channel, I wouldn't be using an ad blocker, knowing the way YouTube is.
Right. Unless you had backup like you do, where you can back everything up on hard drives.
Well, not even, because I still lose my fucking channel.
True,
you know,
but
like,
you
yeah, I
always...
mean, I have my videos, but I'd have to start a whole new fucking channel. They can do that with the flip of a fucking switch. They just push a button on a fucking keyboard. Your channel's fucking gone if they want to. And as petty and shitty as YouTube has been, whether it was during the adpocalypse or fucking when they were coming after gun channels or going after toy channels or whatever the fuck it is, like, all it takes is one person there to be like, oh, this person's using a fucking ad blocker. Boom, your channel's fucking gone. Like, it's just gone. So I would be very careful. Like, there are some browsers I would recommend, if you're going to do that, you use LibreWolf or the other one,
Brave.
Brave, LibreWolf or Brave, because their software blocks Google from tapping into your shit, or any website from tapping into your shit. But if you're using Firefox, Chrome, fucking, I don't know why the fuck anybody would be using Edge, but some people use Edge. Like, if you're using any of the mainstream fucking browsers and you're using an ad blocker on YouTube, just know that you're like as far as your YouTube channel goes,
playing Russian roulette.
Know that you're playing Russian. Yeah, you're playing Russian roulette. Because
you're flirting with Dead Doom.
They can fucking take your goddamn channel away. They can just erase it, and it's in their policy that they can do that. When they did the policy update last year, they put that in there. So, yeah, I wouldn't do that, because fuck, YouTube doesn't give a shit. Google doesn't give a fuck about us. They'll fuck it. They will erase people's fucking channels for no goddamn reason because somebody that works at fucking YouTube just fucking had a bad day. They don't give a fuck about us. And there's none of, there's no like sympathy. They don't give a shit. Somebody fucking feels like removing your channel. Oh, it violated our shit. They're using an ad blocker. Fuck them. You're gone. You're just fucking gone. And all your videos and all your shit is fucking gone.
Your subscribers, which is the hardest part to get back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would highly recommend, if you have videos and you care at all about your fucking YouTube channel, don't use an ad blocker. They may not have gotten you now, but they can get you fucking tomorrow.
Would they think twice about deleting an account that may have done that or does do that if they had like 10 million plus, followers or whatever? That
probably. I'm sure they take
you have, because they make more money for YouTube, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sure there's things like that get taken into consideration, but again, that is on a case-by-case basis, right? That depends on who's looking at your shit. One person may be like, yeah, we can't do that to that channel, and another person may be like, you know what, fuck that channel, click. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, like I said, man, if you care about your YouTube channel, I would not fucking use an ad blocker. So that's just my advice. But you know, people are gonna do what they want. So, and I mean, to be honest, I mean, ads are annoying, but I don't really give that much of a shit about them. 99% of ads are skippable, so you watch a few seconds and click, and then it's over. So,
right,
it doesn't bother me. If it did bother me that much, I would pay the $10 a month for fucking YouTube Premium. You know, it doesn't bother me that much. It doesn't, you know.
I was paying for Spotify.
Is when you are sitting there watching a video, and then it stops your video every, I don't know, 10 minutes or so and plays a fucking ad.
Here's the thing. That is not YouTube. That's those fucking channels that do that shit. Because when you upload a fucking video, they're called mid-roll ads. And if you have a video that's over 10 minutes long, you have to intentionally click or set your upload preferences to where that check mark is always checked off, so that when you upload a video, YouTube will put mid-roll ads in your shit every couple of minutes. That is something those channels fucking do, because the default is not to have mid-roll ads. The default for a YouTube channel when you upload a video is you have to check that box. So that means when they uploaded that video, they intentionally checked that fucking box to put mid-roll ads in all their shit. Okay?
Channels.
Yeah, anything like the long walkthroughs or live streams, all that shit.
Yeah. By the way, putting ads on videos at all is intentional. You have to check the box, yes. You get asked when you upload a video, yes or no, do you want ads on this video? And then if you click yes, then the next thing it asks you is, do you want mid-roll ads on this video? And if you do, you have to check that fucking box. So, yeah, it's annoying, but it's also not YouTube. Like, anybody can upload a video without fucking ads. You just have to not check those boxes. So if you're annoyed by a fucking channel that has a ton of fucking mid-roll ads, it's that channel. It's not YouTube. I mean, YouTube's providing the ads, but the channel is the one who makes the decision on whether the ads are in that fucking video. So if that annoys you, fucking, that's the channel. That's not YouTube. Now, that being said, YouTube can put ads in front of a video even if you don't fucking check that box. YouTube can still put ads in front of a video, but they'll never put mid-roll ads in a video.
No. You can also too add more the ad breaks in if you want to be a real dick.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I got a question real quick. Did y'all hear about the school shooting today? I think it was in Sweden.
No.
Where it's like 1 dead and 5 or 6 injured, or 10 people injured.
Well, that can't be right. According to the news, that only happens in America.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it as an Islamic shooter?
Honestly, I don't know.
I'd be willing to bet it was. That's probably why I haven't heard of it. That's probably why I haven't heard of it, is if it was like an Islamic shooter. That'd be my guess. But I haven't heard of it, no. And I was just right before the chat, I was on Google News homepage. You'd think, because you know how they are about school shootings. They love talking about that shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I saw this on, someone posted it on one of the Discords, one of your Discords.
Okay.
Yeah, you find a lot of stuff on your Discord. That post one too about some migrant shooting with an AK and shit.
Yeah, I saw that too. There's been some stuff going on today. Did you watch the press secretary talking today about Gaza and all that shit? I know you briefly touched on Gaza at the beginning of the chat.
I didn't watch any of the videos of them talking about it. I saw some of the quotes from Trump talking about it. But I didn't watch any of the. I didn't watch the press secretary talk about it.
Okay, I only seen the memes, but I don't know what's on it. Was he thinking like, oh, we should take it over or something?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, essentially, he said that he wanted to go in and clear everybody out and clean the place up, and then bring people back in to where it was safe and all that shit. That's what he said.
My vote would be just to give it back to fucking Israel and let them clean it up and rebuild it. Because Israel gave that away to the fucking Palestinians, like a decade or so ago, in hopes of fucking suing for peace, and obviously it still didn't work. But I say just give it back to fucking Israel.
I would say, what the only thing we should do, because we should not be involved in that shit. The only thing we should do is basically tell fucking NATO and the UN, we are going to protect Israel, and if they want to go in there and clean that place up themselves, we will ensure that you guys don't fuck with them doing it. That's as far as we should go. We should tell Israel, hey, you want to go in there and clean the place up, we'll have your back. We'll make sure that the UN and NATO don't come down on you for it. We'll protect you, but we're not spending a fucking dime. We're not sending a single person over there to do a fucking thing.
That was
we
one
will
thing
protect you because you're our ally, but we're not fucking with Gaza.
That was one thing that they kept asking the press secretary. I forget her name. They asked her like 6 or 7 times, is Trump gonna send troops over there on the ground or send Marines? And she had to repeat herself 100 times that no, he's not looking to send troops or anything or boots on the ground. It's just fucking retarded.
Okay, Matt, check your Discord real quick. Left it to your direct message. We could go that route. Option 1 and option 2.
The Buc-ee's strip instead of the Gaza strip, or the Texas Roadhouse.
I like the Buc-ee's one.
Yeah. No, I like the Texas Roadhouse better because it's got Texas in the name, obviously.
They could put Dollar General there, and it'd just be nothing but
there's
Dollar
a Texas
General.
Roadhouse and a Buc-ee's there. There will be some Dollar Generals that just naturally evolve out of the ground.
Oh, like a mattress firm as well because of the money laundering scheme.
Once the Dollar General hits the ground, they'll start populating.
Yeah, so you got to show the viewers where they're gonna have the Buc-ee's at.
Fucking hilarious.
That was great though. I also saw Shot Red that you posted that I forget who it was now because it was like someone I didn't recognize the name, but they introduced a bill to have constitutional carry in all 50 states.
Yeah, I think Tavis Massey was like more involved with that too. So we'll see.
Which should easily be able to go through if the Republicans aren't full of shit.
Right.
If they aren't full of shit, that should be something very, very simple to do. Trump would totally sign off on it. There's enough Republicans in Congress and the Senate to get it pushed through, to get it to his desk. That should be able to happen. Again, unless what happens every motherfucking time Republicans get in office, which is they do nothing proactive.
Right.
Nothing. Whereas every time Democrats get in office, they go all proactive and start doing all kinds of shit. Republicans just spend all their time trying to be on defense and or undo the stuff that the Democrats did. They never fucking get proactive. Ever.
That's why Trump on the ground running already, because he knows they're going to sit on their damn hands and do shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible it could be done, but yeah, it could be an uphill battle. But I think that one's going to be a little more. If it gets done, I can see that being a little more easier compared to the suppressor one or which get rid of the NFA.
I mean, all this shit could happen. They have, for 2 years, they have all the votes they need and a president who will sign off on this shit for 2 years. They should be able. There's no fucking excuse for it not to happen. None whatsoever. There's no excuse. Fucking do it. Just do it. Get rid of the NFA.
Don't let your dreams be
Mass
dreams.
constitutional carry nationwide. Just fucking do it. But they probably won't. 99.999% chance they fucking won't do it. I hope I'm wrong. Please let me fucking be wrong. But they more than likely won't do it. They never fucking do.
Did you see where they found out like the USA sent the celebrities and paid them millions of dollars to go to Ukraine for like PR shit?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, did you see what's his face? What's the guy's name? The president of Ukraine? Why am I blanking on his name?
Zelensky.
Yeah, he came out and said, I love this. He came out and said, you know, of the $175 billion we've sent him, he's like, yeah, we've only gotten 75 billion of that.
Yep, like 42% of it. So where the hell did the
It's
other
like-
percent go?
And now people are like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, we've only gotten fucking 75 billion of that money. I don't know where the other 100 billion fucking went, but we only ever got 75 billion of that money.
And we know Zelensky spent $15 million on buying Hitler's fucking car.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this now.
There was also a shooting in Ohio today at some plant.
I haven't heard about any shootings today.
There's nothing on Twitter or X, where we're gonna call it, about shootings.
Just call it Twitter, man. I don't know
I'll
why
say
you
no.
call it the fucking name.
Yeah, I call it Twitter. I see a bunch of them for that Ohio one.
Yeah, the Ohio, and then, like I said, I believe it was Sweden. There was the shooting. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was at some kind of makeup manufacturing plant or some shit.
No. Well,
Oh yeah, there was another
I'm
one.
sure it didn't. I'm sure it didn't fit the narrative. If it's not on Google's homepage, which is which I keep up on my computer all the time because Google is got a left-wing bias, and I want to see what they're talking about. So I leave that up on my computer all day,
Right.
which tells me that if they're not talking about it, then it doesn't fit the narrative. So, like in Sweden, it was probably an Islamic shooter. If some shooting happened in Ohio, that means it wasn't a white dude. He wasn't a Republican or something. It doesn't fit the narrative. That's the only reason they won't fucking mention it.
Yeah, Ledley says that the Ohio shooting was 1 dead, 5 injured. Shooter was a black male.
See, it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the narrative, which is why they will not talk about it. But I guarantee you, if that was a white dude, it'd be all over the fucking news.
10 people killed. I found the mentioning of the Sweden one. 10 people killed. School massacre. 10 people shot and killed.
Yeah.
I thought Sweden was utopia.
Yeah, I thought, you know, it was like gun-free zone, and, you know, guns were hard to come by, if not at all.
No.
They banned all the guns.
I mean, to be fair, they had shootings over there before, so that's
I know. I'm just going off what they said.
Has anyone checked on Greta Thunberg? Did she survive?
But bringing up shootings, you're talking about, there was another one too that was like recorded, like a video. I guess it was like a camera outside of some random guy trying to assassinate some like cannabis entrepreneur. Shot him up a bunch of times, but apparently he didn't die.
Yeah. You said Canada?
No, somewhere out here.
Cannabis. He said cannabis.
Oh, cannabis.
Yeah,
It
cannabis.
sounded like you said Canada.
Weed.
Oh, cannabis. I thought you were talking about the 51st state.
Yeah. That's okay. I heard what you said, Shot Red. I got you.
Oh, thanks.
I got you on this one. Some people just don't understand English.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
No, not when you say "ol."
Oh.
Oh, there
That's
you go.
the correct pronunciation.
No, I say it the same way. I'm from Texas too.
You say
You're
any
probably going to
other
get made fun of if
slang
you say it
words?
up there in Michigan.
I don't fucking give a shit. That's Michigan. I will always be Texan. Always. Regardless of where I live.
So you're gonna wear your hat and your boots out there?
No, I don't have a hat and boots. I'm not a fucking cowboy. I'm a Texan. There is a difference.
What would count as Texas clothing? Hat like me.
Okay, what would consider Texas clothing that nobody cannot dispute?
I mean, Texas doesn't really have there's not a style.
Yeah, there's not a standard. I mean, everyone wears whatever.
I mean, there are things that are referred to as Texan, like the Texas tuxedo, which is just like straight denim, denim jacket, blue jeans, shit like that.
Yep.
But that's not. I mean, there's plenty of people in fucking like Montana and shit that wear that stuff too. So, yeah, Texas doesn't really have like a fucking style.
Let's wear like sports stuff like Dallas Cowboys or something.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Ain't that really easy?
I don't give enough of a shit about football to care about the fucking Cowboys.
I don't either. Cowboys have sucked since the fucking 90s.
Yeah, I mean they've sucked since they lost Jimmy Johnson. As soon as Jimmy Johnson was gone, that fucking team went to shit. He held that he made that team fucking champions. He held that fucking team together. I mean, it wasn't just him. I mean, but he left, and Troy Aikman left, Michael Irving left, Emmitt Smith left. Deion Sanders, who was good but also kind of an asshole, although I heard he's all like Mr. fucking preacher now, so he's a better person or whatever. But all their bigwigs, fucking Daryl Johnston left, like in a relatively short period of time, all the people that made that team where it was when it was at its pinnacle fucking left within a very short period. Within just a few years, everybody fucking left that team.
The only way to make the Cowboys great again is if they got to get rid of fucking Jerry Jones. He needs to fucking get gone. He's fucked that team up for many years.
I mean, I understand. I mean, my team left for Vegas.
The issue is that the last time he had a head coach that would call him on his bullshit and take control of the team like the head coach is supposed to was Jimmy Johnson. No head coach has gone against him like that. No head coach since fucking Jimmy Johnson has fucking told Jerry Jones to shove it up his ass and say, leave me the fuck alone so I can make this team great. No other coach will do that.
They're all
Jerry Jones has always been Jerry Jones. Like, he's always been that dude. Even when that team was great. They need a fucking head coach who's going to fucking just make that team fucking good. And nobody will do it. And again,
because they're all cooks. They watch Jerry Jones fuck their wives, and they sit in the corner and play with themselves.
Yep. But
go sports team.
Go sports team.
Anyways,
one day the Raider Nation will come back.
All I'm saying is, watching a bunch of dudes in skin tight outfits touch each other's balls on a field, it's pretty sus.
You mean sexy?
Yeah. What are you talking about, dude?
2025. I guess can't judge too much.
That's high quality entertainment.
That's
right
why
there.
you're talking about it, and you brought it up. You like it deep down. You just don't want to admit it. I'm just being a smartass.
Better a smartass than a dumbass.
This is true. This is true.
Yep.
So what else is going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. I didn't see much as far as news stories. I mean, there was the Gaza thing. There was a bunch of stories coming out about Doge and trying to make fucking. I know Chuck Schumer. Was it Chuck Schumer? I think it was Chuck Schumer. Introduced a bill to try and make it to where Doge didn't have any authority. That won't go anywhere.
I know Trump signed another executive order today, and it was to keep
the women's sport thing.
Yeah, exactly. That apparently there's someone already trying to impeach Trump again. That's nothing new. I mean, that happened.
That's going to keep happening. But like when he signed I think it was called like No Men in Women's Sports or something like that. And when he signed the executive order, the NCAA president came out and like supported it, and basically said, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was like, "This is, this executive order provides like a national standard."
Right.
And
Well, wouldn't that mean that they'd have to get rid of the bitch that was in Russian jail for a long time?
no, she's a woman.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was a
yeah.
That's been I know that's been in question. I know, or a lot of people are making fun of it. I don't know because
People are
seen that in
talking
question.
about her because she's a fucking libtarded asshole. So everybody's calling her a man just to piss her off. But she's a chick.
I know she got some mannish features, but
I think she's kind of on the fence of being a trans man. So she wants her the kid.
I mean, she might be a trans man. I don't know, but she plays in female sports, so she has a vagina, so she can keep playing even if
she's
she
on the record
wants
wanting her child to call her dad.
All I know is she fucking she's got a vagina, and she plays in the NWA, which is where people with vaginas should play. So. But anyway,
she's in the NBA, in WNBA, but don't know if she plays well.
I mean, I've never watched the WNBA. I have no idea if she plays well.
They only have
That
one
is a good question.
She plays. I don't know if she plays well.
The entire WNBA, they have one good player.
The only basketball player I still remember, a female basketball player, Lisa Leslie. That's it. I don't know. I can't name nobody after that.
No one hardly watches it. That's why they suck and they don't have much funding. That's why they constantly whine and bitch and complain about getting equal pay like the men basketball players do. But yet they don't understand that they get paid that money because people watch them. If they watched more WNBA, the women would get paid more.
Well, here's the thing. They totally understand that. They just don't like it. They want to be paid as much.
I watched a breakdown on the actual math for that. They said if they want to get the same percentage that the men get, and the men, the NBA actually pays for the WNBA, and so they actually lose money each year with paying all the what is it?
Players get like, I think total player payout is like 10-15% of everything the NBA makes.
Yeah.
Whereas total player payout in the WNBA is like 40% of everything the WNBA makes goes to the players.
They basically just
and so it's like, if you want to make the same percentage, you're going to make a hell of a lot less because you don't make as much fucking money.
When the guy did the math, basically each WNBA player would owe the company $86,000 a year.
But they still want to bitch. Equal pay.
Mm-hmm. You
don't want equal pay. You want more than you want way more than equal pay. You're already getting more than equal pay. You already get a much higher fucking percentage of the income that gets brought in.
How about they get no pay?
That was the same thing with the female soccer shit. It's like,
yep.
They are already
the fucking the world-winning, the best fucking female soccer team got outplayed by high school boys.
Yeah. And look, if those people want to bitch to the public and say, people need to start watching us, that's one thing. If you think you deserve more eyeballs watching your shit, I don't agree. But if you think you do, go bitch about that. Don't bitch about the fucking money. Because you get paid way more than you fucking earn and way more than you fucking deserve. So don't bitch about the money and talk about systemic fucking bullshit and people hate women. No, nobody watches your fucking shit. Why don't you go bitch at people? Why don't you go do some stuff to fucking make people want to watch your fucking shit? How about that? How about being creative? I don't know. How about topless basketball? Okay?
Well, I was going to bring up two questions.
Fucking watch.
That was one of them.
Lingerie football and didn't go anywhere.
No, they actually had lingerie basketball, but it's like not as big as like the football one, and that still didn't went nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, do something significant to make people want to watch. How about that instead of just bitching?
And I was also going to bring up, do you know any women that really watch sports like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I know particular ones.
It's like one woman for every 10,000 men.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, they're out there. They're just not a lot.
Yeah. I know there's like some like, oh, maybe I might look at certain soccer leagues or tennis or something other stuff. On football, basketball, I'm thinking no.
No, there are some women who get into that stuff. Yeah, I've known women who got into that stuff, but it's very, very, very few and far between.
Yep.
I
So
remember
how many of y'all
back when they were trying to make that artificial push to get people to care about soccer, like they do overseas. They love soccer or football.
Football.
But
football.
They try to push that shit in the United States. It's almost like a psyop type thing. Get people like trick people into like, you must get excited for soccer. No.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been growing a bit. I mean, there's some people like in soccer. I call it soccer, but I prefer, American football.
How many of y'all agree with Dino Spumoni's comment out there? He says, "How about they get back in the kitchen and start making dinner?"
Man, I don't really give a shit about that.
Tampon Tim is back trending for some reason.
Why? He lost.
Weird.
I think there's a big scandal of money he's embezzled and fraud in Minnesota.
Well, fucking what's her face? Camel Harris. She's $2 billion in debt because of the campaign.
20 million.
20 or 20. That's fucking ridiculous.
She spent 1.6 billion on a few month campaign.
Yeah. And still lost.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's see.
I hate to think of a world where she was fucking president.
Well, she never would have been running anything.
Yeah, she would have been like Biden. She'd just be getting told what to fucking do.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was getting told what to do during the campaign. She's caught using those earpieces.
Oh yeah. That was a big scandal too. Her wearing those fucking earrings that were supposed to be earbuds.
She just got completely busted when she was getting that recipe out. Then she held her ear oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That got me thinking.
There was nothing genuine about her campaign at all, and
no,
it was obvious to everybody.
In any fucking stance she took, she was just basically regurgitating shit that was Trump, making herself sound better.
Well, to be fair, they weren't sending their best during this campaign.
If that was their best.
What is this? Oh, has a new article popped up. Judge blocks Sandy Hook family's settlement and Alex Jones bankruptcy.
Ooh.
This just popped up. Let's see.
Really?
Bankruptcy judge on Wednesday blocked a settlement between the families who have sued Alex Jones over his false claims, saying their attempt to divide the bankrupt conspiracy theories assets exceeds the court's authority. Decision complicates a proposed sale of Alex Jones' InfoWar platform and could spur divisions between the family who sued and won $1.3 billion. So, yeah, they're saying that exceeded the court's authority. That's what a bankruptcy judge said. The court did not have the authority to do that.
You're right on that.
Says, let's see, settlement hearing at Houston saying the families were asked to divide up the assets of the parent company, despite the fact that the company had been dismissed from bankruptcy last year. He says, I can't do that. The case is closed.
That's interesting.
Let's see.
I'm not surprised by that whole thing with Miles.
Trying to read this article here. Okay, Lopez says he's allowed Free Speech Systems, which is the InfoWars parent company, to be sold in Jones's ongoing personal bankruptcy, but he says he preferred a pure sale of the company's equity, which is owned by Jones, rather than allowing InfoWars assets to be broken up and sold separately. So the court didn't have any authority to make that call. It's one entity, one company. The court can't force them breaking up the company to sell their assets like that. Alex Jones wanted to sell the whole company. Okay, let's see. We're not doing that anymore. I don't trust the process. Go sell the equity. Family's attorneys had said the agreement would smooth the way for the sale of Alex Jones' assets, including InfoWars, after the previous disagreements over how to pursue Jones' assets in the past. Texas-based families focused more on cash from Jones, while Connecticut-based families prioritized the shutdown of Jones' InfoWars company. So, okay. So we'll see what happens. I guess this is ongoing now. I mean, he's still going to fucking sell his shit. It's just a matter of how he's going to sell it.
Yeah, he shouldn't have to.
But if he sells it, then who's going to tell us when the frauds are gay?
Oh, dude, Alex Jones ain't going nowhere just because he sells that corporation. Alex Jones is still going to be out there doing shit.
But he was right about that, though.
Well, I mean, the Toads only went gay because they got struck by lightning. It's the same thing that happens to everything else.
That's true. No, that judgment against Alex Jones was insane. Mm-hmm. It was the most overblown, insane judgment in the history of the American court system for what he did. Now, that being said, he did do that shit. We've talked about that before. He totally did that shit. Like, that was proven multiple ways, multiple times throughout the 4 years of this court case, 4 or 5 years of this court case. Like, even his family members who worked at the company were like, yeah, he was doing it because it made him money. Like, he totally knew that Sandy Hook was not a false flag event. And he kept saying it because, like, that came out in depositions and shit from his brother, his father, other producers on the shows. Like, he totally fucking did the thing that they said he fucking did. However, $1.3 billion is insane. Absolutely insane. I could understand a $50 million payout for defamation because InfoWars was a big company and they could have afforded a $50 million payout to the families. That would have been in line with other cases of this type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$1.3 billion? I mean, we're talking 25 times that amount. That's insane. And they did it just because they want to shut somebody down.
He's not a billionaire.
No.
Never was.
No. Company's not even worth that fucking much money as a whole.
It's only, what, like a couple millionaire?
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, he totally did some shady shit and fucking said some stuff that he knew was untrue publicly, which is defamation. I mean, that it happened. However, that is an unprecedented financial consequence for something to the level of what he did. It's unprecedented in the American legal system. That has never fucking happened before. ever.
And sets a
It was
precedence.
far more than excessive.
But it's like the crazy fines they were putting on Trump too. It's like for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's all try to break them.
Yep.
I love the answer when they look up. How you gonna? The reporter's like, "How you gonna pay this fine?" Cash.
Yeah.
Paid in pennies. NC Lucky said, "Now we know what happened to Honda." Talking about the lightning strike turning the frogs gay.
Yep. It's true. Let's see. Yeah, no other news going on. Nothing I see here. Nothing crazy. The libtards. I mean, they're bitching about Doge. They're bitching about what Trump said about Gaza.
They don't give a shit that the shutdown U.S. aid. U.S. aid was spending $110 million a day.
Yep.
A day.
On stupid bullshit.
Okay, I thought of something to talk about. Even though I'm like, I don't care about it. Did you all see the Fantastic Four trailer?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a good trailer. I mean, it's a teaser, but nothing significant in there. I liked it.
I don't like the Thing's voice in there, but I feel like Johnny Storm's okay. Sister's okay. I don't know about what's the name, Black is being a big bad.
The Thing's voice wasn't Brooklyn enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird little 50s retro vibe they're doing too, where it's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all going to be a setup for like the Secret Wars thing. Their universe is probably going to get destroyed, and they'll cross over.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see Galactus isn't a giant cloud this time, so.
Yeah, he's not a giant cloud.
Which I actually like. If they could have enhanced Michael Chiklis's thing a little bit with a little bit of CGI, I like the practical effects.
Was that practical?
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Chiklis was all suit.
They could have did that better.
So if they use like CGI to enhance the suit like they can now, they've been really cool.
Okay, so if Giant Cloud Galactus fought Giant Cloud Parallax, who would win?
Galactus. Galactus was a cloud larger than the Earth. Parallax was a cloud that, I don't know, filled up a warehouse.
They'd cancel each other out.
Although, in that movie, you did get a brief view of Galactus behind the clouds. If you watch that Rise of Silver Surfer, there's a moment where it shows the clouds coming in, and you see this shadow behind the clouds. That's the shape of Galactus's head and shit.
Yep.
That's as close as it gets. That's all you get in that fucking movie. But no, I saw the trailer yesterday. I liked it. It looked cool.
Who's playing the Fantastic Four? I haven't seen it.
Who's playing the Fantastic? Well, I don't fucking know all their names. Man.
Pedro Pascal is playing.
That's the only one you know is him. That's it.
It's like the dude. One of the dudes from the last season of Stranger Things is Johnny Storm. Pedro Pascal plays Reed Richards. The chick who I know mostly from a couple of the Fast and Furious movies plays Sue Storm. And then what's his name? Cousin Eddie? Is it Eddie? I can't remember his name, but from that show The Bear, plays Ben Grimm, plays the Thing. So, I mean,
at least
I don't know their fucking names, but
at least Johnny and Sue are actually blood-related brother and sister this time.
Yeah.
Sue's not adopted.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't they got someone better than Pedro Pascal to play?
Well, they want to use him for everything.
If they hadn't wasted him for Multiverse of Madness, we had a pretty just about perfect Reed Richards.
Yeah, John Krasinski was great. He would have made it great.
Yep,
I agree.
Well, they were talking about having him and his wife play the roles of Reed and Sue.
I wonder why.
Him and Emily Blunt.
Yep.
That would have been better than I'm sure what they chose.
Sue looks good. Johnny looks good.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm just neutral.
They look related, so
it look better.
The only one that I have qualms about is Pedro Pascal. Like the other three, I think were great choices for the roles. Pedro Pascal, I like him. However, I've never seen him play a role like Reed Richards, so I don't know that. I mean, maybe he knocks it out of the park in the movie. I don't know, but he's never played a role like that before. And I have no reason to think he could play that role, but maybe he does. Maybe he does a great job. I don't know. The other three are fine. I like the choices for the other three. So, yeah. No, the trailer was good. I mean, it's just a little teaser trailer, but it was well put together and looked cool. And I like the 60s aesthetic in this alternate universe. I think that's a cool way to do Fantastic Four. So I dig it.
NC Lucky said Randy Quaid is Cousin Eddie.
I can't remember what the guy's name is. They call him Cousin on. I don't know if anybody in here has ever watched that show, The Bear. It's a really good show.
No, never heard of it.
It's on my list. Still need
He calls him, the main guy calls him Cousin all the time, and I can't remember what his name is on the show. If it's like Eddie or something like that. So it's not that they call him Cousin Eddie. He just calls him Cousin on the show, and I forget what his name is. But yeah, he's from that. I mean, he's been in a bunch of other shit. I mean, you've seen that dude before. I've seen
his name is Eben Moss Bacroc.
There you go. I mean, I've seen this dude in stuff for like 20 years. Like you've seen him before. But the most recent thing he's been in is The Bear. So
yeah, when you said Cousin Eddie, that was my first thought was Randy Quaid. I'm like, they put him in that fucking movie.
The dumbest shit is the fact they're gender swapping the Silver Surfer,
which wasn't in the trailer. So I wonder where that's going to come in.
She's listed as the Shalabah.
Well, of course they're going to do more than one trailer.
Cousin Richie, that's what his name is. I just looked it up. It's not Eddie, it's Richie. Cousin Richie. Anyway.
Speaking of Dennis Quaid, that fucker he went batshit crazy and even ended up homeless for quite a while.
Oh yeah, I think he's been nuts for a long time.
Yeah, because he disappeared and the family found him on the fucking street corner as a bum.
Although his brother, man, I've heard his brother talk about him in interviews here in the last few years, and his brother's like loyal. He's like, I love my brother. My brother's always been good to me. He's blah, 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 all this stuff. He's like, he's had his problems, but he's a good man, and I'll always fucking be there for him. They're like, no, that's pretty nice. It's what you expect the brother to say, but a lot of times nowadays, fucking.
Yeah, Dennis. About two opposites.
I mean, going a little bit back on the Fantastic Four, I would like to see a Doom, but I don't want it to be, who, Tony Stark. But whatever, they want to go with that version.
A what?
No, remember they're gonna make like a version of Doom with Tony Stark.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be in that next Avengers movie.
Yeah, I don't like that. I wish it was somebody else playing Doom.
It depends on what they do. Maybe they come up with a good story as to why he's Doom. I don't know.
There's a comic of of that version why, but I prefer rather be somebody be Doom.
It's because that it's a segue in to bring Tony Stark back in.
Yep, pretty much that's what that is.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. We are done.
Penis.
We're wrapping this shit storm up with lots of penis. It's all penis tonight. Been nothing but penis. So we will get the fuck out of here.
Blasting
We'll see
everyone
you
in the
guys. I'll be back on Friday. And then after Friday, I don't know how the next week is going to go. Because I will be moving. I'm going to try and make time to do a geek chat this weekend. And then more than likely next week, y'all ain't going to see me. Because that's the week I'm moving. And that's going to be days worth of shit to do. So
then
you're not going to try to do like
everything.
Wait, two people were talking at the same time. I didn't hear any of that.
Yep. I said it's going to take time for you to get your new studio set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to do like a road trip chat like you did going up to Honda's?
No, fuck no. I'm driving a 26-foot fucking truck dragging a car behind me going into a fucking winter storm. I ain't fucking playing with my phone. Hell no.
Where's the fun in that, though?
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to be playing with their phone.
I'd like to make it to Michigan. I want to actually get to Michigan alive. So, no. No, that ain't going to be happening. So, I will probably be gone for, I'm guessing, about a week. If I can hop on streams or anything like that, I certainly will. But I make no promises for next week. So, just so you guys know what's going on. And the other thing we got to talk about is the timing of my chats. I will be moving to a new time zone. So, I don't know if my chats may start an hour earlier than normal. For me to still do them at the same time of day, for me, is now going to be an hour earlier. So, we'll see. We'll play it by ear, but I don't want to be doing chats at 9 o'clock my time when I have to wake up and go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is what my schedule is going to be. I have to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I don't want to be starting a 2-hour chat at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know for everybody on the East Coast, you guys are used to seeing me at 9 o'clock. And if you're in Central, it's 8. But I'm going to be switching time zones. So there's probably going to be some adjustments there for what times I do chats going forward.
I expected that.
So
you got a super chat.
Oh yeah, Tarkay. Thank you, Tarkay. Says make sure you pack drinks. Calming cider is tasty. I don't even know what that is. Calming cider. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back on Friday, and then we'll play it by ear after that. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Had fun tonight. Hope you guys have a great fucking week.
Yes, sir.
As always, deuces, yo, shall not pee in fridge, all that good shit, and we'll see you guys next time. So take it easy, guys.
Penis.